reminder that 1 million seconds is 12 days and 1 billion seconds is 32 years. I'm going to say that again. 1 million seconds is 12 days. 1 billion seconds is 32 years. You might, if you are very lucky, and the top 5 to 8% of earners in this country, that you might amass $1 million of wealth. Maybe. You will never be a billionaire. 1 million seconds is 12 days. 1 billion seconds is 32 years. If your annual salary is larger than $175,000 a year, you do not pay Social Security tax on that $175 anymore. Any money that you make more than $175,000 of your salary does not get Social Security taxed. The reason why we are worried about Social Security's solvency is because there is a cap on who pays taxes for Social Security. So if your income comes from, I don't know, let's say stocks or investments, and it doesn't count as a salary that gets reported on your W-2, you don't pay Social Security taxes on that income. A man who does not have the concept of how much it would cost you to pay rent is currently deciding whether or not the Social Security Administration should be paying out seniors in America.
I have here a list of men who genuinely scare me, legitimately petrify me, and I will not elaborate any further on this list. I will let you draw your own conclusions. Starting with men who work at Best Buy. Men who growl loudly at the gym. Men who say, oh yeah, name 10 books. Oh yeah, name 10 cars. Men who commit crimes when their favorite sports team loses. Male lawyers or male politicians. Men who hunt and brag about it. Men who have a startup and are always on the verge of something big. Men who wear shorts outdoors in the winter. Men whose favorite sentence is, well, actually, well, that's not fully true, but actually, yeah. And finally, men who read self-help books. The book won't fix you. Go to therapy.
The way that an extraordinary man is literally just an average woman. Oh wow, he cooks, he cleans, he communicates, he's emotionally intelligent, has a job, is reliable, amazing, best man you've ever heard of in your life, right? Name one woman you know who's not all of those things. It's because we are.
The fact that these dudes are what's being sold to us as supposedly the hottest, sexiest men out there really kind of illustrates a very interesting point within our society. Let's compare this to the leading men of 1995. What's going on here? I'm not saying that they're unattractive, but let's compare it to a Brad Pitt. No. Are our expectations being lowered systematically? Is that a bad or a good thing? And by that I mean, this being sold on the dream of a Brad Pitt any better or worse than being sold on the dream of dudes that look like this?
Offset and all the men like him are saying the quiet part out loud now because they feeling real motherfucking comfortable. So shouldn't none of y'all be falling victim to this shit no motherfucking more. He got on a Joe Budden podcast and said out of his own mouth that no woman has ever walked away from the situation with him and done better or bossed up or anything like that. Meaning that all of his relationships he spent bleeding those people dry. He left them in a worse off position than when they were with him. He's never seen them succeed without him being around. Meaning he was literally bleeding their energy, bleeding their youth, bleeding them dry, sucking them through the energy of their womb. All them baby moms, Cardi B, he's saying the quiet part out loud. You will never leave me better than you came. They getting on here and telling y'all that. You had my baby, you my baby mom, I won. They getting on here and telling y'all that. They saying the quiet part out loud. It wasn't enough for our OGs, our big cousins, our big sisters, our big aunties of all race, religions, creeds, and colors, bitch. Shit, the alien women trying to beam their motherfucking message down from the motherfucking sky. And y'all called them some old hating hoes. Y'all owed them a motherfucking apology. And they was trying to tell y'all and put y'all on game. Stop letting these motherfucking men trick you out your motherfucking spot. They literally telling you out the horse's mouth. You had Corey Holcomb, that's his name, get on here and say, I literally date single mothers and women that don't have a lot of resources so that I could treat them however I want to because they're going to take this little couple dollars towards the cable and these little couple dollars towards the sneakers for little man. They literally telling you. They are making you vulnerable so that you're vulnerable to them and then vulnerable to other men after. They're telling you, I'm going to come up in your life and take your essence. I'm going to come up in your life and I'm going to take from you and leave you with nothing. I win. Out loud, out of their own mouth. And y'all will still get on here and argue the message. Y'all will still allow them to impregnate y'all and trick y'all out y'all spot. At this point, it's nothing that could save motherfuckers. If hearing it from these men directly is not enough. It's not enough.
I feel like a lot of the people who hate Conrad are coming from an issue with perspective and perception. I think a lot of this has to do with the way that YA has a long history of love triangles and how a lot of the time the first lead and the second lead tend to fall into a specific stereotype and a specific character archetype. And you guys are putting Conrad in the wrong archetype. Because Conrad, in the show at least, in the books he's a bit different, but in the show, is actually way more human than you guys are giving him credit for. You guys think that he's some big, bad, broody dude who is just so, like, distant and, like, all these things. Like, he's just the bad boy who smokes cigarettes and blah, 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 blah. But this has always been a front, and this is, like, a thing that he went through because he was going through something. And not because that is who he is as a person. The story keeps trying to tell you this over and over and over again. That Conrad that you see in the first season and even in the second season is not the way that he acts. Conrad Fisher is one of the most mild-mannered love interests in a YA TV show. Books a little different that I've ever seen. But people who aren't like on his side keep trying to act like he's completely different than he is. Like he's just a guy that you need to change when he's shown over and over and over again that like no one is changing him but himself. Like he's the one who's doing the work to change. You guys are having an issue of perception. You keep looking at this like it's any other YA media where there is the bad boy and then there's a good guy who ultimately loses. When both of these are actually sort of fronts that has a lot to do with Belly's perception of them herself, because she's also naive. She doesn't see Conrad, at least at the current moment, as somebody who is like truly loves her and sees her because she's insecure. And she assumes that Jeremiah is this loving, kind, sweet-hearted guy, even though he can be incredibly impulsive, immature, and just not in tune with her emotions because that's how she's seen him. That's the version of him that she knew every summer that she visited him. This is why the flashbacks are so necessary, because in a way it's showing you the type of person Conrad is and has always been. And you guys are holding something against him that he went through because he was depressed. I think it's understandable if you don't like him. Like, it's like you can't always like everyone. But I think the way that you guys are describing him is way worse than he actually is. He is not that. He's mild-mannered. I don't know why you guys act like he's fitting into the whole character archetype of the bad boy. He's not the bad boy. His whole thing is about responsibility and like pressure that he feels from being the golden child. And then all of that collapsing because he realized how fucked up his family dynamics are. And all of this is happening when he could have been at the cusp of being in a relationship with the girl that he's loved since he was a kid. Like, he's literally a middle-aged man stuck in a 20-year-old body. He's so mild-mannered. I don't know why you guys try to act like he's the bad boy when he's not. I like, there's room, I'd say, in the books to say that he is the bad boy. Especially book 1 and book 2. I say book 3, he completely changes. But, like, in the show? Come on now. Let's just be serious with ourselves.